Hello YouTube, Liverpool fan in Japan here, Miyazaki Mansai. Happy Friday, minasan everybody. I think this is where we pick up the momentum again for the title charge and the quadruple. We're still well placed to fight on all fronts. It's all to play for, and if you look at the fixture list as well, Liverpool FC have the best fixture lists of all the title contenders, Man City and Arsenal. Saying that though, Man City play Everton before us. They have a chance to leapfrog us in the table. Everton, you know what to do. Don't bend over too hard. Anyway, yeah, that aside, Liverpool play Burnley, 3 PM in the UK. For me, it's going to be, what, midnight? Late one again. However, it's a rare occasion where my kids are over at their grandparents this weekend. So if you guys want, I can do a live stream commentary watch along of the Liverpool versus Burnley match, 3 PM at Anfield. It's going to be midnight for me. I can do it. Let's do it. If you want to see it, let me know in the comments below. And then based on the feedback, I might be able to do it for you guys. It'll be fun, right? I feel that this is the opportunity for us to get right back on track, and Burnley relegation fodder coming to Anfield won't pose the biggest threats, but they do have some strikers in on form. Fofana, loaned from Chelsea. Also, they always make it tough, right? They're going to play two banks of four, congest to play, really box it in. Come and break us down, boys. Of course we can break them down. It's Anfield. Let's get into it. So Burnley don't have the most stellar lineup this season. Amdouni, Fofana, Trafford's on loan as well. They've got some players, Goodmanson, who can do a job, who are effective, but the overall squad and the capabilities of that squad is not on par really with title challenging contenders. Obviously not, they're Burnley FC, but even mid-table they're struggling heavily this season. Coming to Anfield, they're going to set up shop, they're going to try to frustrate, to stall the game, tactical fouls, etc. However, we have some good returning players. Endo, for example, is back from international duty. Captain Endo, he is going to be a big lift for the team because he gives us the platform to play our game, especially the two number 8s can really proceed with their offensive threat on the transition, knowing that they've got someone in and behind them who always cover their back. In fact, someone like Gravenberch always plays better with the presence of Endo at the base of the midfield. But saying that though, Endo also gives McAllister a license to go into number 8 positions. Will he go there? Let's look at the team lineup. So obviously Alisson Becker straight in. He will want to recover from that mistake, keep a clean sheet, expected. Right back, so here's the first choice. Will it be Connor Bradley? Is he coming back from grievances, obviously, from, you know, the bad news? We've seen the pictures, him at the funeral, very sad day overall. I think you need to give him a bit of time away to gather himself and compose himself. I think playing football will get his mind away from, obviously, the tragic events. But saying that, it's one game for Trent, because this is the type of game, right? So there were some arguments around Trent, he can't defend under the cosh, high pressure, high intensity. This is the game where you dominate possession, where you want someone like Trent on the ball to unlock the door. He's got many different keys for any door that Burnley can pose, and he can put his key right through that door hole, open the door, bang, and wherever he may end up playing, he whips in the ball and it's a goal all day. We got that chance, right? Trent starts at right back, and next to him, this is going to be the interesting choice here, okay? So on the left-hand side, it's obviously going to be Van Dijk. We might as well just pen him in right now, especially with the suspension of Ibu Konate and the long-term injury to Joel Matip as well. Two choices. Two prominent choices at least, Joe Gomez or Jarrell Quansah. There's been news in the media that Joe Gomez is actually recovering from illness. So will Gomez start or will be Jarrell Quansah? So Burnley are fairly physical. Someone like Fofana, Amdouni will run the lines. I think Fofana and Amdouni would still be a good matchup against Jarrell Quansah, because Quansah and his composure in a game where we dominate possession has the ability to ping the balls as well. He's actually pretty comfortable on the ball, and I think Jarrell Quansah, Van Dijk holding the line, allowing Trent to really progress and our left back to progress would be gold. Now, saying that, with Gomez's potential illness recovering and him being bang on form and being the best of the bunch against Arsenal, he's been performing outstandingly at left back. But if there's a game to bring in Andy Robertson for that gusto, that drive, that energy, I think it's this game. And there's another reason why I put Robertson here, and it's not to do with Robertson himself, but actually, you know that Gomez is versatile. Off the bench, he can cover anyone in the back line. So there's your option, Gomez on the bench to cover the back line if he recovers from illness. Hopefully Bradley makes it on the bench as well. Who knows? Maybe it's too early. It's up to Klopp. They'll have personal talks. But Robertson, this is the back line that won us everything, right? Robertson left, Trent on the back. Bombing forward, up and down the wings. Obviously, we had the front three. We had Salah, Firmino, and Mane absolutely on fire as well. But we know the qualities of Robertson. And on that left-hand side, safe as houses, Robertson, Van Dijk, nothing gets through them. Even Gomez and Van Dijk, the experienced side. But Trent, Quansah, youth, however, they have options on the right-hand side. We always like to overload the right-hand side. So here's what we're probably going to do. And if you notice here, to God Emperor of Mankind. My bad. I'm like really digging the Warhammer 40k lore lately. I played it back in the day, Games Workshop. My God, overpriced miniatures. So Yeah, you know where we're going to this. Emperor Enforcer Endo goes straight in. Now, Endo really can lift our whole game because he gives the confidence in the midfield that nothing shall pass the line that he sits on. He actually controls the offside line and the pressing lines, and he is international captain, formerly Stuttgart captain, experienced, calm level head who can break the lines with a pass. But the most important thing, he's got that snap, that bite in the tackle, pang, punch. Not a punch, that's a red card. He goes straight in there, gets the ball, turns it over, breaks the lines, hopefully to Soboslai, who bangs it in, but Soboslai is not fit, unfortunately. So who goes in here? I just noticed right wing. Why not? Let's do it. It's Burnley. On the right hand side, this is probably open for suggestion. Now, if you want to go all out and we really need to beat Burnley to build our momentum, especially with Man City likely to win, we need to keep on their tails until the big game at Anfield. Ourselves, some people will say our strongest lineup would be Endo, McAllister and Jones, and probably for now that is the strongest lineup on paper, depending on opposition that you want to play against. So what do you have there? You have the tackle ability of Endo, the pressing and tackling ability of McAllister, breaking the lines of passes with McAllister and Endo, silky ballers and passing of McAllister and Jones. You can't take the ball off them. Tick-a-tacker, game intelligence, game awareness. But who drives through the lines? Who's going to break through the lines? The one we have in our squad apart from Soboslai is Gravenberch or Cody Gakpo on the left. Potentially Gakpo on the left. That's an interesting option, right? But is this a game for Gravenberch to pick himself up after being shouted out by Klopp, by being ganged up on by the online fans and media and scrutinised and whatever? Because we will dominate possession. Gravenberch plays well when Endo is in there. And what a show of faith into Gravenberch by Klopp to say, dude, cement your place, show what you're about, break the lines, break the Burnley defensive four wall, get in and amongst them, get in and behind them, progress into that position, do your thing and unlock the door and unleash us. And if all goes wrong, we can sub him off. There's a world where I think that happens. It really could be a possibility, because if you're looking for balance, you put a McAllister or Jones on the left and you put a Gravenberch on the right to break through the lines, and he can be found by Trent, he can be found by Quansah as well, and it ultimately dictates who we play on the right wing. If I was manager, I would play Gravenberch here, even though I don't think he's necessarily the strongest midfielder in this lineup, but he has attributes that would really be effective against Burnley, considering the fact that the one that you choose out of Jones and McAllister, they can do similar things. They can receive the ball anywhere, they can turn on the ball, they can hold up the ball, they can beat the first man, but it's progressive passing and safe pair of legs to Gini Wijnaldum role. I would play Gravenberch, but I have a feeling it will be McAllister. And I'd like to play Gravenberch as well, because I'd love to show him that show of faith, knowing that in half time on the 60-minute mark at Anfield, no matter what lineup we play, which sounds really bizarre, right, considering this is a tactics and lineups video, that we could turn them over. Anyway, I'm pretty sure we'll do Burnley in, I'm going to say 3-0. Even before I show you the firepower up front, I'm going to say 3-0. Okay, so with that in mind, I've just revealed that this should be our mate, our Scouse lad, Curtis Jones. Now, if Jones plays in this position here, he must turn and drive. There must be one instance at least where he gets the ball and goes, and show his dribbling prowess, or show his physicality and ability to ball and beat a man on the lines, because Burnley will congest it and he can't just play safe, tick-a-tacker, hold the ball, pass, move. I know it's the Liverpool groove, but no, we need someone to progress through the lines, okay? Because Gravenberch would have done it on the side, but I think he will start with this midfield for control, for dominance, and try to wrap up the game early days. I think the front three pretty much picks itself. Now, once again, there is a train of thought here that because it's against Burnley, the opposition is Burnley, that you could probably get away with a Gakpo on the left or up front to get him some confidence, to get him back into the goals. Because we're going to dominate possession, he's going to get the ball, he's going to get chances, and he's a pretty decent link-up play as well. And he hasn't had many opportunities on the left wing. He's been shunted onto the right wing for whatever reason, but up front as well, to add an extra body into the midfield to break the Burnley lines, that could be an option. But I really think, on the basis that we lost to Arsenal, Núñez is a surefire starter to create opportunities, because when you're against these kind of teams, these lower table teams who try to frustrate you, the first goal is all important, because then they can't sit there the whole game. They have to come out, they have to try and do something. So Núñez's existence is very, very important. But where does he play? Striker or left wing? So I think he starts on the left simply for the reason that he can play himself into the game. he'll get more of the ball on the left-hand side, whereas he'll be congested and crowded out, and he'll be balling for scraps with his back to goal up front, right? Which is where Jota fits in, because Jota is a baller, dirt baller, and he's got that silkworm dribble. I love the silkworm dribble. I don't know what that's like, Zoidberg or something from Futurama. Anyway, he has the ability to make something with composure, whereas Jota and Nunes in these positions, it doesn't have to stick there. They can interchange. So you'll find Jota on the left-hand side a lot of times. You'll find Nunes through the middle. You'll find Nunes in the middle, darting out onto the left-hand side, and Jota covering in between the lines in front of the play. In fact, we may not crowd that area, because on the right, we have Lucho Diaz, who is versatile enough to play on the right-hand side, because he's just an out-and-out winger. He's a pest. He's a menace. He never stops running. And he'll be defensively responsible as well to track back. But saying that, they don't really have bombing fullbacks anyway. They're going to play quite conservative, play the long ball, look for fouls in and around our penalty area, going for set pieces, which is why Quansah and Van Dijk are very important, because they're dominant in the air as well. And what kind of shape we're looking to take up here. Now, we haven't got Gomez to fulfill that free at the back with Trent inverting, but I still think it will happen. And what will probably happen, because we'll have majority of the ball, is they might push up the two with Endo slotting in here. Does this ring a bell? The Busquets, Fabinho style. And just before I show you the tactical setup, I'm getting a bit peckish. I missed lunch. I have some specialty pastry goodies today from my favourite pastry in Miyazaki, Japan. Now this is known as a Mont Blanc pie. Mont Blanc is some kind of edible chestnut thingy-majiggy, like a conker. You know those horse chestnuts? Not that kind of horse chestnut. We can't eat those, right? I love playing conkers. This is a Mont Blanc pie. How do I eat this thing? Looks kind of erotic. Buttery puff pastry holds a delightful chestnut Mont Blanc inside. Growing that dad bod. And as I mentioned, I'm highly considering covering the Burnley Liverpool match 3 PM at Anfield live, giving running commentary. Obviously we can watch it here in Japan, so let me know in the comments below if it's something you'd like to see. Very keen to do it for you guys. Now I know what you're thinking, 2 times in one video? What a glutton. Miyazaki man, dame, shame on you. But Canelli. Canelli. I remember in Fortnum and Mason posh tea shop in London, right? They bake some good Canellis. Look at that. It's a Friday, man, come on. Moist, crispy, spongy. Okay, so this is the 3 at the back, with Trent and Robertson almost being wing backs. Now this is slightly vaguely similar to what Alonso would be doing at Bayer Leverkusen with Grimaldo and Frimpong on the right hand side. And how exciting would that be, right? If Alonso did come in, Frimpong is a potential option at right back, a flying winger. Grimaldo, absolutely class Grimaldo. Free from Benfica, but he's got so many goals and so many assists. Technical player, he used to play in central midfield as well. What a gem. He flew under the radar. Premier Leagues were linked with him as well. But we don't really need that, because Tsimikas and Robertson, great left-sided half, and Conor Bradley and Trent with the upcoming Calvin Ramsey as well. Gomez can do right back. We've got enough options there, but they're exciting players, The ones I really want from Bayer Leverkusen would be Florian Wirtz. We'll go into that in a different video. So, flying wingers, Endo holds that space, and look at this. You've got the diamonds throughout. You've got the diamonds forever straight away, which means that the spaces in the pockets is going to be contested by quality, and can Burnley really transition to those spaces or hit a ball over the top into those spaces, it's going to be very, very difficult for them to do. And this as a kind of shield in front is very hard, because you could even congest the midfield, bypass the Mazzala 10 positions and go straight into the front line, where these 3 against any opposition in the world will always cause havoc if you can get them in and amongst the right positions, because I don't think Burnley will expose himself and press too hard, so it'll be there to exploit if that's what we go with. Now if you have Robertson and Trent on the wide positions, and I really feel they should be on the wide positions here, because it's going to be about bombarding the ball into the box, not playing through the lines because of the amount of bodies here. It means that Jones and McAllister have to weave and open up the gaps in the midfield, right? It's very important that they're not still and they open up the gaps to midfield, so Endo can play those progressive balls. And there's going to be a lot of overload and switching as well. I can imagine a lot of times Jones might pivot out to here. Jota plays in between the lines in here, in this kind of position here, and Nunes probes for an opportunity, because Jota shooting across, Lucho coming in, shooting across or drilling across. This position here is a position we need to work into, because it'll be absolutely crowded in, so there's no way that you can start in there and sit there. They'll just never be found, and they won't be able to do much with the ball, because as good as Jones and McAllister are technically, they're not that dribbling wizard like Lionel Messi who can get out of congested space, beat two and lob the keeper, something like that. They're going to need to be put into the right place on the turn and progress, maybe on to a 1v1 on a half term, that kind of thing. So with these players, I think they can get the ball transition, and if Robertson and Trent really push up, then it's up to these players to do the covering role, or you might have Endo covering one side and Jones and or McAllister holding in position as well. And ultimately, I think you're going to find Trent in this position quite a few times because he's got to get those game winning metrics, the assists, the goals, or the ball before the ball to play in the final man to score the goal. I think Nunes will create opportunities. He'll be full of endeavour and running as well. Lucho will be full of dribbling and linking up as well. Jota will look for any half chances, any ability to show his composure and slot in a goal. I think there's goals in this game. I'm going to go with a conservative 3-0. But yeah, it could be frustrating for a while because Burnley will sit in there and they'll try to frustrate. They're not the biggest goal threat, but they want to hit us over the top with the counter, with the pace of Fafana, for example. And yeah, hopefully we can keep a clean sheet in this one, get the confidence back into the big lads, the main lads. And that is how I think we will line up against Burnley. However, saying that, if Gravenberch did start, let's say for example, Wataru Endo, a little bit tired, needs to rest. Obviously his exertions in the Asia Cup as well, he didn't have a rest. He played every game. There's a world where McAllister starts at the base, and in which case it will be Gravenberch coming straight in. And what you're likely to see in that instance is more of the same, to be honest, except from the fact that without the destroyer, the absolute destroyer who can put us on front foot straight away, it's going to be more along the lines of McAllister picking up the ball off the back and trying to thread the ball into the half spaces, into Trent, for example, and Trent will do his thing to whip the ball in or progress it or get to Gravenberch. We don't love this position particularly much, Gravenberch covering on the right wing back slot, but against Burnley, I think it won't be as threatening as Arsenal, for example, so it's not the end of the world. But yeah, this is a match for Trent to really show what he's about, because he is of that caliber, he is of that top tier, where he needs to take the game by the scruff of the neck and really impose himself and get into those game winning metrics, because yeah, stats count. Stats actually give you a lot of confidence. And Robertson as well. People have slept on Robertson's delivery and drive and endeavour. Remember, he's a high assister as well. So there's a world where you get Robertson, backed by Van Dijk, McAllister. Everyone pushes up into this kind of position. And you get Robertson, and then you overload this side with a ball player. Gravenberch floating in and around from midfield. Trent for any spillage. And Robertson, in you go, do that kind of thing. I even want to see Robertson play it to Jones, wrap around the outside, Robertson in around the back, pulling it back as well. That's how you open up teams like Burnley. You've got to get in amongst them, in and around the back, break their shape, break their spirits. In you go. Golazzo. Let me know what you think in comments below. Really looking forward to this game. Burnley's a beautiful game to get back into the flow of things, especially after the Arsenal match. And then we've got to build up momentum for the Carabao Cup final against Chelsea at Wembley. And then on to bigger and better things against Man City at Anfield. Let's get our squad back. As I mentioned, it's very possible that I cover the Burnley versus Liverpool at Anfield match tomorrow live 3 PM. I can do a watch along commentary. I got it on my app, so I could give you running commentary if you would like. Let me know in the comments below if it's something you'd be keen to see. Unfortunate about the Thiago setback. However, you kind of knew it was going to happen, right? Miyazaki Manichiban, make sure to like the video. Helps this channel and the video get seen by many people. I think each like that you give at least exposes the video to 10 more people. Current theory of mine, but yeah, likes make a huge difference. Just click that button. Domo arigatou gozaimasu. Comment as well below. Interaction's great. And subscribe if you haven't already. Lots of analysis coming up. Janet, Miyazaki-man, Ichiban.